DART was one of 73 recipients of the transportation grants, and this is going to put the project south of Cherry Street between 6th Avenue and 7th Street in Des Moines. The great news, the wonderful news about that is that they're speculating that it could create more than 600 jobs, which I'm sure a lot of people would be looking forward to here in the Des Moines area. Okay, and so Gunnar also mentioned the online trip planner, which means that rather than the maps, the paper maps, the hard copies, and the bus schedules, you can go online and plug in your trip and get the best route information from there. And then that would involve Google eventually too, to actually assist riders with creating a map of their route. There's also going to be GPSs on the bus, and Gunnar mentioned the proper name for that would be Automatic Vehicle Locator System. The last point that he and I did not have time to address is the big picture planning study that DART is conducting. They're doing that study to focus on the transit needs of Greater Des Moines, to examine where transit service is most needed, not just where it's always been, which is a good thing. It's important to answer your market needs, to study your market, and figure out what's needed from your riders, what's needed from your city, and go from there. So that's a good thing. I do have 4 suggestions for DART, and since we ran out of time, I didn't bring them up with Gunnar, but I'll bring them up now, and it might be that other people agree, or maybe it hasn't been considered, but we'll see what happens. I can just put it out there and see where it goes. I would like to see DART put its research, policy papers, press releases, and study results, statistics, everything, on its website online for people like myself who use that to study the urban area, the urban planning, public administration, public policy. I think that would help with public relations, to actually have something solid to look at, to know what DART's planning, and not, of course, confidential papers, but even just articles describing or explaining, or sometimes even justifying decisions made by our transit system. And this is along the lines of the American Public Transportation Association and the Iowa Public Transportation Office, which is where I got quite a lot of my study material and research material. It would be good to have something not only as a national guide to look at, but something that's actually specific for Iowa and the Des Moines area especially. Suggestion. And then my second suggestion is to increase evening and weekend service here. Since they're studying the route information, that would be my suggestion. Gunnar did say that increased service means increased ridership. They go hand in hand, and I suggest evening and weekend services. That affects the ability of people who work retail jobs to actually get to where they need to go during the evening. It also affects senior abilities to run errands, and commuter abilities to enjoy evening activities around the metro area, but especially in the downtown area if they need to get home after an evening at a bar. It might help to have access to public transportation to get home safely for themselves and others on the road. Same thing for college students. It makes it safer for them to get home after whatever they do after school and on the weekends. So those are my suggestions. Actually, I had another one. This goes back to the construction of the new transit hub. What I learned is that the bidding is going to, after all the paperwork gets finalized, that transit hub will go up for bidding spring of 2011. And this goes back to the Walsh versus Weitz controversy, which occurred in over the project for the Iowa prison in Fort Madison, where Walsh, a Des Moines area contractor who was the low bid for Iowa, and then Weitz, who is a Chicago area contractor, that was an even lower bid from the state of Illinois, and they won that contract. I think when this new transit hub goes up for bidding, it should be done with that in mind. And the reason for that is, regardless if a company is union or non-union, Iowa jobs belong in Iowa. Of course, may the best person win, but I do believe that Iowa jobs should focus on Iowa, putting Iowans back to work. And this actually came up in the governor's debate. This is from the Friday, October 22nd, Des Moines Register. And this is election 2010, the governor's race debate number 3. The question they were asked, and this is Governor Chet Culver and former Governor Terry Branstad, which is more responsible, awarding a state contract to the lowest bidder, even if that company happens to be out of state, or to an Iowa company that will hire more Iowans? And so they both answered that question, and then I have my thoughts on that too. And the reason why I'm concerned about how that played out is there's something called a change order. And this is where a company who even might bid the lowest can start work on a project, can win the contract, and then start work on the contract, and then discover that additional funds are needed to complete the contract, whether it's something wrong that was underestimated about labor, about building supplies, about weather, about equipment, anything, or new processes that need to go into the project. And this has come up before, and this is also from the Des Moines Register. Surprise construction costs spur policy change. This is also from Thursday, October 21st. Urban school board members this month were surprised to learn more than $100,000 was spent to prepare a middle school parking lot for use. On Monday, school board members decided that board president Mark Weirson would be notified of construction changes that cost $25,000 or more. There have been 4 change orders, each with multiple items totaling more than $100,000 through September 30th, in addition to the rock expenditure. The changes range from spending $728 on an exterior intercom speaker to nearly $55,000 to re-roof part of the building. Decisions on change orders are run by the superintendent and other administrators, and that's according to business manager Shelley Clifford. So even though a company can bid lower than any other corporation involved, a change order could make a difference to where they might actually result in a higher cost for construction. So that's something to think about. Okay. And another thing that I was concerned about was the idea of so much controversy about the prison contract. And this is because I do subscribe to the green jobs, not jails philosophy. I know that the prison would result in not only construction work, but also work to run the prison. But I have another thought, and this goes back to the Green Deal topic of today. My thought is here in Iowa that the Metro Transit Hub could actually be used to jumpstart a Green New Deal in the Des Moines area, which I don't know if anyone's considered that, but it should be considered. People are out of work. People need jobs. We have construction coming up that might prove a very good way to employ them, not just with the prison that, we're actually having that controversy, or people are fighting over to build and to run and to work in. But then public transportation is also quite a large employer for a variety of skills, whether blue collar or white collar, telecommunications, electrical, administrative, construction, all that gets involved with public transportation. And so that's something to think about too.